Welcome to Monday Club!
Welcome to Monday Club!
Rebooted!
Oh my god, it's like the Matrix Reloaded. This is awesome.
Yeah. We're back. I'm back. We're someone brand new.
Hey, I'm his other ethnic friend.
Boie.
I'm Gus Davis.
And we are here with an episode of Monday Club where we talk about me and Gus, how we met, how he saved my life from a ninja stripper.
It's a true story. It's exciting. Also, we're going to do some how things grind my gears segments, I think.
And a teachable moment. You're going to learn stuff here. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So what's up, Gus?
Man, Pete, I am so excited that we decided to do this. Basically, today's whole episode is just based on a dare, I think.
Yeah. I think I texted you over Christmas and was like, you want to do a podcast? I got a one-word text back, yes.
Which I think is going to sum up how our entire podcast is going to go together.
Yeah. So we decided to reboot Monday Club. For those of you who don't know, and that's probably most everybody, because 35 people listen to Monday Club, the original. Me and my buddy Norm started Monday Club with 10 episodes a couple years ago, and we are making it rise from the ashes today.
Also, a quick shout out to Norm. Like, hey, Norm, we love you, man. Thanks for hooking us up with this, man.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. Yeah. So, in Monday Club traditional style, we always started off with Monday Club cheers. What are you drinking today, Gus?
I am drinking a Shiner Bock. And you?
What a coincidence. Me too, man.
Dude, you know what's really exciting? This is going to be, not only is this the ceremonial, like, beginning first podcast, but like, we won't get to cheers each other in person very often because I live in Austin, Texas, and you live
in Maine.
So let's make this official. Here
All right,
we go.
Ready? Cheers,
yes,
man.
Cheers.
Oh
my God, that's
Shiner Bock. Every time I went to Texas, Shiner Bock was my beer, and I just had to order it. And then one time it showed up at my grocery store in Maine. I was like, damn it. It was so cool. Now I can just get it any time.
That's so funny. In Austin, it's like, would you like water, Shiner Bock, or Tito's vodka? Like that's pretty much the choices.
What do you take?
All of them.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm looking at an empty bottle of Crown.
Oh my God.
And Fireball in this hotel room.
I want you to know how important Monday Club is to me, that I'm actually drinking a beer right now because last night I thought maybe I was back in college and we were doing drinking games till like 4 o'clock in the morning, which is awful. Just an awful idea, you know? But it was a lot of fun.
Awful till the next morning.
Awful till the next morning, till you brought me Jimmy John's. Well, do you want to tell people who have never heard of Monday Club, like how Monday Club came to be?
Yeah. So years ago, for I don't even know the year.
1929.
Norman Ing's 21st birthday, I traveled to California, and we went out for a night of debauchery. And it was a Monday. We're magicians, so we're always working on the weekends, doing magic shows and parties and whatnot. And so Mondays were our day off. And we always went out. And they were the best nights to go out because we got all the attention.
Yeah, like no one's ever out on Monday. It's so weird being an entertainer where, like, my Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, I'm usually either on the road or working, doing a show at a party or something like that. And, like, I just love that idea that, like, Monday, when most people are like, oh, no, it's Monday. Monday's usually the day we're like, oh, good. I get to catch back up on my Netflix.
Yeah, Mondays are the coolest days of the week for us because it's like, quiet or not because of Monday Club. And so, yeah, we coined the term Monday Club years and years ago, and we turned it into a podcast a few years ago. It went on a short hiatus, but it is back with a vengeance.
It's back and better. Back in
Shiner Bock.
Back and better.
Back
with
in Bock.
We should come up with a Monday Club toast so that people can join us having.
All right, like a saying.
Beverages. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It should rhyme maybe.
Oh, I like it.
A rhyming toast. All right,
we'll get back to that. We're not going to freestyle.
We'll get back to you next Monday. By the way, these are going to be posted on Monday too.
Yeah. If anyone has suggestions of a Monday Club post, your toast could make it immortalized.
What if we came up with a new one every week? That's a lot of work. Too much work for Monday Club.
So I know this is an audio podcast. You can't actually see us, but here's how this thing is going to get started. We're in a hotel room together. I have my microphone gaff taped to a mic stand.
Pictures will be posted on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Gaff taped, dude. I mean, this is like as homegrown as we could possibly get. But I tell you what, man, I feel it. We're gonna go places.
It's looking awesome. I think it's the passion and the heart that matters.
Oh yeah. Like we'll look back on this episode like, I don't know, a year from now and be like, hey, you remember when we had to like gaff tape
studio,
things? Yeah,
that beautiful studio.
That beautiful studio.
We'll fly over to each other's house every Monday.
Yeah.
In the private jet.
Yo, so yeah, that's really cool that Norm and you started Monday Club just as a like magician's day off. You know, I really like that idea too because like so many people do. They're like, oh, we have a case of the moon days.
Oh, I hate that term.
I do too.
It's like, come on, it's still a great day of the week. The best day of the week. So, yeah. And so that's why we're rebooting it. Norm had to, he had like 20 kids, so he had to stop doing Monday Club. But, I don't have 20 kids yet, so we are back, and Gus is Monday Club.
Let's do it.
Cheers
man.
to you,
Cheers.
man.
And
Thanks for
cheers to
making this
Monday
come
Club.
alive again. This is awesome.
It's all right. It's awesome.
This is awesome. This is great. So let's go back to a little bit of our origin story, like the prequels.
Okay.
Except they
without
won't be
Jar Jar.
animated with Jar Jar. Gus, do you want to tell everybody how we met?
I do want to tell everybody how we met. The problem is, and this is going to shock some of you who hear us drinking on the microphones, but I don't think we remember how we met.
That is a true story. We have no definitive moment. There's no definitive moment where we looked across the room.
That's true, but not necessarily true. So I have fleeting moments of remembering how we met. I remember that we had a suite at a hotel at a convention. And I remember some guy with orange shoes coming running into the room.
Oh, this is video. This isn't video.
This isn't video.
I'm pointing at myself.
Some dude in orange shoes coming running into our room, grabbing some of our beer, jumping on our bed, and then leaving. And I remember we were all like, who the hell was that guy? And someone's like, I think that was Peter Boie. So that was the first time we met. The second time that I actually remember we started becoming like friends was we went on we happened to go to that Vegas convention together, like a magic convention. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know about magic conventions, you're missing out.
Oh my God. I suggest if you ever get a chance to go to a magic convention or a clown convention, do yourself a favor and go, because you will have a lifetime of memories from those conventions.
Probably good memories.
Probably.
No, it's awesome. You
It
get
is.
together with a bunch of magicians, dork out for a few days, and maybe get drunk.
Well, but that was one of the reasons that I think you and I became friends, is because, yes, we both have backgrounds in doing magic, but we also can turn it off and not do magic tricks for each other in the hotel. In fact, I don't think I've actually ever seen you perform. Ever.
Yes, you have. Children's Hospital.
Oh, that's
which
right.
we'll tell you guys about later.
Yeah. Oh, that's also when we became friends.
Yeah.
Jumping
ahead a little bit.
Yeah. That's some foreshadowing.
Damn.
But yeah, so we went to that magic convention in Vegas, and we were all rooming together, and that. Can we talk about that convention and how awesome that was? So it was IMX in Vegas. I don't know.
At the Orleans Casino.
At the Orleans Casino. And it was, let's name drop here for a second.
Who we were hanging out with.
We were hanging out with
crazy awesome magician Rudy Kobe.
Brian Brushwood.
Peter Boie and Gus Davis. Those guys are like too big. You wouldn't know them.
Yeah. Underground. They're underground. CJ Johnson, Nate Staniforth,
Daniel Martin, And you might have heard of this guy, David Copperfield.
Did we hang out with David Copperfield on that trip?
We totally did.
Wait, not only did we hang out with David Copperfield, here's how this went down. We ended up at a private movie theater.
Us in D.C. That's what friends call him.
Us in D.C. yeah, we're friends with D.C.
Yeah, D.C.
Yeah, watching The Hangover 2, which I think also says a lot about our relationship.
A midnight showing. He rented out the whole theater, and we're sitting in this theater, our group, his group, just kind of laughing at the same movie with David Copperfield. Legendary magician performer. Sold more tickets than anyone in the world. And that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. And literally, the movie ended. We got in a limo, went back to the hotel, threw our stuff in a bag, and got on a plane. And I'm sure we looked and smelled and were just as wrecked as you could possibly be coming back from a magic convention. But, I mean, we've seen a movie together with David Copperfield. I mean, we've got to be besties now, right?
But that was like the last night, which kind of capped it off. But the night before, I remember something about a bottle of absinthe.
Do you? Because I don't remember.
I don't remember.
No, I do.
Absinthe.
No.
We had the little ritual going with the absinthe and the sugar cube, and it was like, I don't know, it was a thing.
Yeah. So I do remember that. What I also remember is that that entire trip escalated from like, hey, let's hang out in the room and like, invite some people over. And we got like, it was like a 1960s party suite. Do you remember that? It was like, it had like lime green carpet and like a old school bar inside there. Anyway, we were hanging out. And the first night, it was like we saw all of the friends that we knew that happened to be at that convention. And then Rudy Kobe showed up. The next night, Rudy Kobe came back and drank all of our absinthe. Do you remember that dude just like took the bottle and just drank it down? He hooked us up with Chris Kenner, and we ended up going to Kenner's house.
Was this before or after you saved me from a ninja hooker?
This is after. So you already were talking about the tattooing my name somewhere on your body. You remember? No. So what he's talking about is this. We went to the casino. We were playing craps and blackjack and all that. Pete and I are straggling back. We're the last ones of our group to get back to the hotel room. And Pete is trying to talk to me, and while he's talking to me, he's not paying attention to where he's going, and he walks directly into this, for lack of a better term, ninja.
Yeah,
right?
but she was short.
Yeah, she was like, I remember being like
didn't
four.
See her.
Right, I remember being like
just
four
looking
something.
straight ahead, and nothing. There was nothing in my way until I almost toppled her.
Yeah, yes, clearly his fault. Though she was very, very short. But instead of saying anything or, anything like that, this chick dropped down into a fighting stance. And I have never seen Pete, Pete, who towers over this girl by like 3.5 feet, just like have the look of absolute death in his eyes. He was like, oh my God, I'm about to get my ass kicked by a
4'3".
4'3".
Ninja.
And I go over and I just put my giant bare arms around this ninja, and I'm like, it's cool.
This is the equivalent of taking a bullet for a bro. He was going to take a ninja ass whooping from me.
I was going to take a midget ninja ass whooping from you. But I don't think she was expecting me to just like, blue bear hug her. And she was like, all right, it's fine. And just turned around and walked away. But I saved your life.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I owe you one. Like a life.
You owe me a life?
I owe you a life.
Well, let's give life to this podcast. That'll work, right?
All right, yeah,
all right.
Cool.
All right, cool.
So,
we'll be even.
Who's I was going to ask who squeezes it out. That's a weird image.
So yeah, that was after the ninja experiment. But then we ended up at Kenner's house.
Yeah.
And not to give away Chris Kenner's business on the microphone, but the dude has a bat cave. Do you remember the bat cave?
I remember seeing a lightsaber.
Dude.
Are we supposed to talk about this?
I don't know.
Because it might be secret.
I don't think we give away. I don't think we give away any of his stuff. But I will say that in real life, the dude had a bat cave, and I have never been so impressed with somebody's house in my entire life. It was beautiful. It was like hanging out on the top of.
It was secret too. It wasn't like there was a sign above it that says "Bat Cave, come in."
No,
it was.
You got to play the piano, do, and that stuff happens. Yeah, it was amazing. Notes? So, he'll never listen to this, but shout out to Chris Kenner. Thanks for having us over, man.
Thanks. You don't know me.
You probably don't know me.
That was fun, though.
Yeah, and then Kenner is David Copperfield's right-hand guy, and invited us all to go to Copperfield's show, where we had the VIP seats, like the very front and center lounge seats. And so for, a bunch of dork magicians that show up at this magic convention, we were all like, oh my God, this is like the best, right? So we were sitting in the front row. And didn't you get up on stage?
Yeah, he lets during the last thing. What is it? What does he call it? Where people disappear from the audience? I didn't get to disappear, but I caught one of those big balls, and that allowed me to go up on stage, and I was a witness, and it was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I will never forget the 6-year-old kid in a candy shop face that you and Nate were making while y'all were up on stage. Or like if the world ended right there, y'all would have looked at each other, shaken each other's hand, and been like, "Yeah, it's fine.
It was a good run.
It's a good run.
Awesome.
I can deal with that."
We did this. That's how we got hooked up with Copperfield. And then after that, that's when the whole movie thing happened.
Right, and then it was like, seriously, we just need to go home now. Like, nothing is going to get cooler than being like. Being the laugh track for David Copperfield at his private movie.
You know what's awesome? Like living away from Gus. Like we're so far away. We never see each other in like normal everyday. Oh, you got to go grocery shopping. Yeah, let's go grocery. It's like we come together for like crazy awesome things. So it's always like an explosion of, dude, I haven't seen you in a while, and then we're at this something crazy and fun at the same time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, I love you a lot, but I'm a little glad that we don't live in the same city, because my liver could not take it.
Yeah, because he sucks at quarters, so.
I do. It's a true story. I'm getting better. I'm going to practice, because that's what I need to do as a 35-year-old man, is practice playing quarters. But seriously, I will. I'm going to kick your ass next time.
All right, bring him in.
So yeah, that was how, I think that's how we actually got to be friends. Was
through those extraordinary
circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, it really was solidified with "You Saved My Life." I mean, it was like I liked you a lot, but then
like somebody who's going to just tackle a midget ninja
turned into something deeper.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, yeah, that's a bro moment.
Yeah,
you want a hug?
Yeah, well, let's hug it.
All right. Right.
That was a sound effect.
I need a minute.
So besides all the drinking we do, we actually give back to the community.
It's true.
We do. And we mentioned this earlier. We actually, I sound really, really, what's the word I'm looking for?
I can't help you.
Self-indulgent, or we're trying to pump ourselves up and make ourselves look good.
Right.
But we do magic for kids for free.
Yeah. Like on a regular basis. Don't you do a lot of like kid shows also when you can?
See, I'm advertising my goodwill.
I mean,
it defeats the purpose.
No one listens to us. It's fine.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Every year I do a magic show at the Children's Hospital in Maine, in Portland, Maine, the Barbara Bush Children's Hospital. But I got the idea from when we used to do kids hospital shows when we always got together.
So for those of you who don't know, which is like all of you because nobody's listening to this, we have a group that we like to call the Epic Circle. It's the same group of people that went to that. Once you've been to Vegas and sat in that room with David Copperfield, like that was as epic of a trip as you could possibly get. Anyway, so shout outs to Dan Martin for hooking this up the times that we've been able to do it. But we do all get the chance to get together on a couple of occasions throughout the year when we go to these conferences. where we're trying to book college shows and stuff like that. Anyway, we were at one college conference, and Dan put together a free show for the local children's hospital. And Dan Martin, Peter Boie,
Johnny Zavon,
CJ Johnson,
Nate Standiforth, Brian Brushwood, Pete,
and I all got up super early in the morning, which wasn't easy. Got up super early in the morning and went and put on an amazing magic show for all of those deserving kids, and that became a tradition. Like the only reason we stopped doing it was either the city didn't have a children's hospital, or they were too busy, which is
they make it hard too.
They do actually.
It's like we just want to give a little something to people. Come on, and,
right?
Sometimes they could make it a little easier on us.
Well, they're very busy.
Yeah. But they're doing more important work than magic shows.
Come on, see this rubber band trick I've got. Jeez, but no, it was a really meaningful thing, and it did the same thing for me. Like that, I used that idea to go out and do some free works for libraries and stuff like that, just to give back to the community. And I'll tell you what, like as much as I enjoy performing for college students and for corporate groups, I still really enjoy doing children's shows. It's weird. Like I don't know why, but like
it exercises a different muscle.
What do you mean?
Like when you're performing for a certain age group, like college students, for a while, you get in that zone and you just kind of work that their mentality, and then say you do a corporate show for 40, 50-year-olds, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, they appreciate different humor or a little bit different. It's
right.
A lot of the crossover. And then you do a magic show for kids, and then you find yourself being a little goofier, Dude. So you kind of exercise different parts of your performing persona. This is how I find it anyways. And it's kind of cool because then it bleeds over, because sometimes I need to be a little more animated in my college shows. I get a little too dormant, And
I'll tell you, man, kids are rough to perform for. Like, I don't know if you've had that experience too, but the last kids show,
hardest to fool of all.
Well, hardest to fool, and I guess it's because like magic is still kind of like because as a kid you don't understand things.
Yeah, they don't get that you can't actually make quarters appear.
Right. They might not know how you do it, but that it's not impressive. It's like, I don't know how food appears on my plate, but it sure does,
Like, oh, that's pretty cool. Almost as cool as that sun thing that happens every morning.
Right. But the last magic show I did for kids, it's like here was my week, all right? My week was Brian invited me to do an episode of Scam School. So I was on Scam School in the first week. We had like 260,000 views on that episode.
You know why? Because it taught the proper way to fling a rubber band.
Which is pretty great, right?
Which it sounds like, oh, duh, you just fling a rubber band. Nope. Gus has the innermost secrets.
Misspent youth. Anyway, but I was super excited. Like I was happy with how the episode went. It was just a fun week. It was fun to hang out with Brian, all that. So that happened. My next show was going to be on ESPN. They were going to film it for ESPN for the New Mexico Bowl.
Television thing?
Yeah, like that little small network television thing.
What show? You were doing a magic show?
No, I was doing a game show for their New Mexico Bowl.
That's awesome,
right? And something else had just happened too. Our last show right before then was a corporate show that we just knocked out of the park, and it was for some big corporation. Anyway, not bragging. I'm just saying that was my week, right? On Tuesday of that week, I did a magic show for second graders at my son's elementary school. Okay, so
What's second grade, like 8 years old?
Yeah, like 8 years old. All of that, one magic show for 200 second graders. Okay. I started that magic show. The first kid that I had come up on stage comes up and looks at me dead in the face while I'm trying to do a cool piece of magic or whatever. He looks me dead in the face. He's like, "Why are you sweating so much?"
Did everybody hear this?
Yeah, it's like kids aren't silent about stuff.
So, Gus, why were you sweating so much?
Because I was terrified of all these little kids, right? Anyway, it was like I know you little kids don't know this, but you know, I really do real performing. And they were just like, this is fun. Yeah. Oh, you have another rope. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
We went back together. That's nice.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, like kids just don't let you get away with stuff. Whereas adults or you know, the college community, I think you can just, you know
what I find fascinating about the kids though? They come up with these methods that, like, say you're doing a trick that has, you know, a cool trick that fools them. They'll still come up with these amazing methods that would never be possible. Like, okay, that coin disappeared out of your hand. I know how you did it. Your sleeves were rolled up, but there's this invisible thing that comes out from above your shirt and grabs it, and it goes so quick I can't see it,
dude.
And then it does this and that, and they come up with these extravagant methods that you're like, dude, can you build that for me?
Right. Like I've had that exact. I've heard a kid say like you're doing a coin trick or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, well, you just have a pocket in your hand." And I was like, I don't know what the hell that means. like whatever. But anyway,
surgically, you just like cut under the skin and you add another layer.
If you really cared about your art, you'd put a hand pocket.
Detachable thumbs and hand pockets.
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious if you really did that. So you could. It's a long way to go for a stupid trick.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we just went on a crazy tirade, but seriously,
talking about kids.
At
the hospital.
At the hospital, yeah. Anyway, I knew Pete was a good guy. I knew we were going to be friends. But that whole idea of hanging out, or that whole idea of working with kids and how much you gave back and stuff like that, I was like, oh, well, he's also a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. You too.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So, I don't know if I ever heard this official story. Like, now, since this is our first podcast, you think we should get some back. How did you get started in magic?
Oh my god.
What was your, like, were you a magic kid from Christmas kid? Were you a library kid?
Yeah,
were you
a
tourist trap magic shop kid?
So I went. I remember getting a magic kit when I was like 6 years old for Christmas or something like that.
Age.
Yeah, and I remember having like a set of cups and balls or things like that. But when I was 10, 11 years old, a place called the Magic Camp opened up in Austin, Texas. And I went for I went for a week. And that first week, I just got hooked. And I thought I was only going to be able to go, like, in my entire life, like, learn magic for 1 week. So I was that kid who, like stayed late and, like, got all the magic books that they had in the little magic library and, like, just, like, hand-copied everything from the Mark Wilson book, basically, into, like, a spiral notebook.
So you could read it later.
Yes, I could read it later, yeah. And I think they just...
That's dedication.
Yeah. I mean,
you were manually plagiarizing. That was awesome.
I was scribing the Mark Wilson book. Anyway, I think they took pity on me, and they were like, look, how about you come and be a counselor in training, and that way you don't have to pay, but you can, still hang out, and you can help us out with
awesome.
With kids. Yeah. And then I was just hooked. Like, I was there, like, literally every year and every session that they had for, like, 18 years, and went off, like, started one of their camps and was a camp manager and all camp. I was a camp counselor and all that stuff. Nice. But it was fun, man. And I learned.
Was it an overnight or day camp?
It was a day camp, but they learned, like, they taught, like, magic, juggling, puppets,
like a circus arts thing with heavy magic
sort of circusy arts, yeah.
That's cool.
And so it served me so well because I have I have just enough knowledge of things to be dangerous. You know what I mean? Like I have enough knowledge of juggling to, like, juggle clubs or pass clubs with people or juggle fire and stuff like that. Would I ever do a juggling show? No, but I see some stuff and I'm like, I could do that. So yeah, man, that's how I got started, and then that's actually how I got into the game show business too, because I met CJ when he was. Shout out to CJ, by the way. I met CJ when he was doing touring shows too, and when I was in college, Brian had just stopped working for CJ, being his road assistant on magic show tours, and so I jumped in and helped do Like I filled Brian's shoes when he left helping CJ. And then when I graduated college, CJ was like, well, dude, you're fun. Do you want to try helping me get this game show business started? And I was like, I had just graduated school, had no job, and was like, yeah, man, that sounds like a great plan. so yeah, my entire life is basically like all of the businesses and the jobs that I've had have basically started once I.
From being a magician.
Yeah, from starting being a kid magician. Yeah.
Nice. Well, you could like do so many other types of performing after being a magician.
Yeah.
Because you learn a lot of different skills just being up on stage.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how most of magic is just about like your interaction with your audience. You know, like sure, the magic part's cool, but I've seen people do really cool tricks who were really lame with their audience and no one cared.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so,
why do they care about you doing this awesome trick?
Right.
It's like, do they care about you? Do they care about what you're saying? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really personality driven, and I think that's one of the things that you know, learning that art from a young age helped me do, you know?
Yeah,
what about you? How'd you get started doing
I
magic shows?
was your traditional library book magician, but weird. Found a magic book at the library when I was 11. Started doing magic with my cousin, and then he was a couple years older than me. He got into cool stuff like guitar, and I was like doing card tricks. So we know how the high school went for both of us.
You're like, you just wait until I get in my 20s, man.
Yeah, I'll be cool one day.
I'll be cool one day. He's like surrounded by chicks playing his guitar. He's like, good luck with that, boy.
And so I just fell in love from the beginning. Although weird. I guess it's not a coincidence. When I was 3 years, my earliest memory was when I was 3 years old. A friend of the family who was a magician, he pulled a quarter from my ear, and that is my earliest memory. So it must have had some sort of profound, deep psychological ruining of me because years later, when I was 11, I found that magic book and started doing tricks. 15 years old, got paid $50 to do my first magic show at the local Grange Hall.
You got paid $50? My first show was $25. It was out. It was it was out in a person's backyard, and it was awful. Like they.
Wait, do you have it on film?
Oh my God, no.
I
wish I did.
Film.
I wish I did, but
it's never seeing the light of day.
It will never see the light of day. But actually, you know what? I bet there's a picture somewhere out there. I don't think it was filmed, but I bet there's a picture out there somewhere. Here's how bad it was. My costume, I was wearing a red and black do-rag at the time. So
that's part of the costume.
It was part of the costume, yeah. So yeah, it was definitely.
What'd you have for the rest of your costume? Was it like a red and black tux?
No,
like
no.
A black tux with like a red bow tie?
Looking like a ghetto Two-Face. No, man, my costume was I had a Chinese dragon silk robe that I got from our local magic shop, a black and red do-rag, and probably Crocs or some shitty sneakers like that on.
Oh, man. Dude, if you can pick up this picture, I think Monday Clubbers want to see this. I do. My hand is raised. We really want to see this picture.
All we need is one more hand, and then you have a majority.
All we need is the first 1,000 subscribers. Gus promises to release this picture.
First 1,000 subscribers, and I release a picture of me with a do-rag.
Is that not
no? I'm asking you what the terms of this bet is. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, okay.
All right. You heard it here.
All right, wait. Handshake it.
All right.
Oh God, jeez, what did I do?
This is awesome. I can't wait.
All right.
We might have to wait like 4 years to see this picture,
right,
but
right.
I'm happy with that.
All right, I will also. I would like. Yeah, we already shook, so that's a bet, right?
Okay.
But I would like if you also posted a picture of you at your youngest age, that you can have a picture of you performing.
I think I can do that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
1,000 subscribers.
1,000 subscribers.
All right.
I will get the earliest picture I can find of, it might even be promo pictures of me in my parents' living room in front of their red velvet curtains.
Oh my God. I might actually have a fro in some of my earliest promo pictures.
Is that what the do-rag was
Yeah,
keeping
dude,
down?
like, this is not a joke. In middle school, I don't know why my mom let me do this to myself, but I had a fro that was so big that it would touch the edges of doors when I walked through.
Whoa!
Yeah, here's how big it was. I used to hide. I'd get bored in class, and I would hide pencils in my hair just because they would just disappear, you know. And like days later, I would like be showering or something and find just pencils like
Seriously?
stuck. Oh yeah,
You'd lose pencils in your hair.
Yeah, it was huge, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'll post a picture of that too.
Yes.
Oh,
I want to see
this
that.
is awful. This is
great.
a terrible
We're gonna
idea.
dive deep into your nightmares.
We're gonna have to have a Tuesday Club podcast just to get over all of the stuff that we
Therapy
did.
session
Therapy
Tuesday.
session Tuesday.
Where we atone for all our Monday Club sins.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's funny. So you started performing when you were 13?
Publicly 15.
Public.
But, you know, I would do shows in my basement for my parents and grandparents and sister. And I remember it was weird because I remember doing like the show in the basement for my family. And I was doing, you know, some tricks and they were okay, you know, for a kid. And then I remember doing one trick that literally got that reaction, that I'm totally fooled reaction,
right.
where they're like, oh wow, this might be, you know,
Yeah.
he can actually do magic.
Right.
And it was the card to orange trick where somebody picks a card and it disappears and reappears inside of an orange. You cut it open, and I did that trick, and it was I just remember that feeling, because if I hadn't have done that trick successfully, I might not be a magician, because that's what I held on to. I was like, everything else was filler, but that one, that's my ticket.
Yeah.
That was good.
Dude, my mom used to, my very first show, I realized I booked my very first show, not that show that was in the that my friend's birthday party or whatever they got $25 for, but my first show was at a parade for 4th of July. And a friend of a friend contacted me directly, like, you know, and I'm like 14, 15 years old. So like a random person calling me on the house phone and wanting to talk to me about doing a magic show was like a huge deal to me, you know?
You get really nervous, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're asking me like what I want to charge. And I was like, I don't know. My last show was $25. So I mean, can you do 50? I don't know, you know. Anyway, they had me come out to do that 4th of July show. And I remember I booked the show. I negotiated a fee. I told them how long it would be. They said that they would get me like a, you know, microphone and have a stage for me and all this. And I'm like making all these like decisions, business decisions, you know. And I remember I was like, man, I've done it. Like, I have a business now. Like, this is so great. And then I was like, the day of it came, and I got everything prepared and set up in the living room to, like, you know, take to this thing. And I realized that I couldn't fucking drive myself to my own show.
You didn't realize this?
I didn't know how I was going to get
Think
there.
about transportation earlier.
I didn't even think about transportation. And so then I had to go to my mom and be like, hey, Mom, can you drive me to a magic show? And she did. And then I got there and I was like, well, can you intro me? Because I didn't think about that either. And then during the show, I was like, can you come back up here and hold some stuff? It's really windy. Anyway, for a long time, I just kept that going. Like, I was like all through high school, I had my mom come out and help me do shows, like library shows and kids' birthday party shows and stuff like that. And I did that because it was literally the only time that we saw each other. Like once you know, college started for me and stuff like that, I wasn't in the house anymore. And so it was like, like magic to me sort of has that, like, there's a little bit of a tie-in too to just like being able to hang out with my family. Cause you know, when I'm working and you can work with me, that's usually the only time you get to see me, you know, with me traveling so much.
Did you have like a coming out moment as a magician?
Phrasing? what do you mean?
Like coming out of the magic closet per se? Because I remember I kept it a secret from all my friends through like middle school and high school. It was like only a couple of friends knew I was like into magic a little bit. And I thought it was like the dorkiest thing. I thought I was going to get picked on. People wouldn't like it. They'd think I'm lame because I'm into magic tricks or something. And or if they asked me to do a trick and I didn't live up to their expectations, then all of a sudden I'm done for the rest of high school.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So junior year, I call it my magic coming out. That's when I did the talent show and did a little magic act, and it was pretty exhilarating. Like, I don't want to diminish what it is to be gay and come out being gay because that's way heavier.
Right, right.
Like, that's my little
But
piece
it
of
was fair.
understanding.
I can totally see that. Yeah, I can totally see that. Man, that's awesome. No, I was really opposite of that. Like. I wasn't the kind of person. I'm still not the kind of person that like carries around a deck of cards everywhere I go and is like, "Hey, you want to see a magic trick?" You know. But so I went from being I did fencing for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
So magic was nothing.
Yeah, dude, magic was a step up the ladder from getting your ass kicked in middle school and high school. So I stopped doing fencing when I went to like 2 junior Olympics in fencing and stuff like that. And then I got to the spot where I stepped up to the next age bracket, and I realized how much money it would take to continue fencing, like to start going on tour to like overseas and stuff like that to do fencing tournaments. And I was like, man, like I can't afford to do that. Like I can't afford to do that. And then I found magic and started doing like, working at the Austin Zoo, doing balloon animals and magic tricks and stuff like that, and coming away with a couple $100. And so for me, I wasn't ever scared to tell people I did magic, because in my head, magic was like, hey, I'm making cash money, like.
Magic is one of those weird hobbies that you can get paid for it almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, you put in maybe a year and you could like start doing really low pressure gigs for a few bucks.
Yeah. I'd say magic and balloon animals are like that. And that's what I got started. I went and got like the Klutz book of balloon animals and
Klutz book of magic. That's where I got the Cardew orange one.
Hey, buddy, yeah.
I love you.
Shout out to Klutz.
If you want to sponsor us, we love you.
Yeah, we will definitely throw some bones your way.
We have
man.
at least 3 listeners, including us. Thanks, James. He's on his phone.
Yeah. Anyway, it was. It's like I learned how to do some basic balloon animals and hats, and had 3-4 magic tricks that were pretty solid. And I went out and did some restaurants and some like I said, the Austin Zoo, and some fairs and festivals, and in middle school, high school, coming home on a weekend with a couple $100 was great,
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah. So I'd never really had like a coming out moment. I was like, I would really like to get $50 now, please, kind of moment,
You're like, I do this and this and this and this. Who wants to hire me?
So you did your talent show?
I did, yeah.
I did I got to be senior speaker for our high school graduation. I did a magic trick
really?
for our high school
Nice.
graduation.
That's awesome.
That was I would say that was the closest to a magic coming out as I had.
That's cool. I never did that, but yeah, I did I was so nervous. That was probably one of the worst nervouses I've ever. Nervouses, is that a word?
Nervouses.
More nervous I've ever. Yeah, I bet that's the
Though
most.
You can't see it, Peter might have just finished his beer.
Yes, that's true. That was probably the most nervous I've ever been doing a show, like for your friends in high school, and yeah, it was crazy.
That's real pressure.
And I did. I worked with birds at the time. So like I was making birds appear. And so, like, the next day at school, people were pretty impressed. They're like, there was nothing there, and there was a bird. And, like, people, it kind of went the way I had hoped it and dreamed it would go, that people enjoyed it and were impressed. So
that's
cool.
awesome, man.
It was cool.
So did you have doves?
Yeah, I had 3 doves.
I still have a dove from when I did, like, birthday party magic. Like,
really?
doves
still
live.
alive.
Doves live
like
forever.
25 years, right?
Yeah, they live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks. I stopped using it because it started to look awful. Like it's like its neck doesn't have any feathers on it anymore. And I remember the last time I used it, one of the kids was like, "Is it sick?" It's like, oh my god, well, that's the end of that act.
Why is it sweating?
Why is it sweating? Does it still have both its eyes?
Oh man, that's cool.
Shout out to PETA.
PETA's the name?
No, PETA.
Oh, PETA.
PETA, the organization against cruelty for animals.
Oh, yeah, they're not a terrorist organization or anything.
No. Okay. Oh, we just got sad. Oh.
Wow. So that's like our origins.
Yeah.
That's like our beginnings.
Yeah.
So now we can like begin.
We can begin again with Monday Club.
Yes. This is awesome. The rebirth, the reboot of Monday Club. We're going to have a new weekly segment, Teachable Moments.
Teachable Moments.
Yeah.
With Pete and Gus. So I was thinking about this week's teachable moment, and it actually came to me yesterday. But the question came up of why work with the college crowd specifically. And I'll tell you, man, when I first started working colleges, like I said, I had just graduated college. I had graduated college myself, and I started getting into doing game shows in the college community. And for the first 5 years that I did shows, it was great because I was in the same demographic as the college students themselves. And so, I knew what was up. You know what I'm saying? I was cool.
You were in on all the jokes.
I was in on all the jokes. Like, I still had friends that were in college. Like, yeah, I knew everything that was going on. And then I went through a 5-year period where I was chasing that feeling. Like, I was trying to watch YouTube videos on how to wobble, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like trying to, I was like, oh no, seriously, teach me how to Dougie. Serious, that's a serious question,
There should be a YouTube channel, how to be in college.
Well, basically there is. So anyway, I went through that 5-year period, and then I went through this very freeing period where I was like, I don't have to keep that going. Like, as long as I can match energies with my audience, and I don't come across as fake, then
yeah, that's key.
Yeah, then it's gonna be great, And once I had that realization, it was just very freeing for me. I was like, I could just be my normal douchebag self on stage, and as long as I can, just respect them for where they're at in life, then it'll work out for me. So here's my teachable moment. My teachable moment is being with college students or working with the college age crowd definitely keeps you young. It keeps you active, and it keeps you excited. And I think you always learn. I think just because of their energy and the things that they're into and the things that they're going through, it just kind of keeps you in that mindset as you go forward. I think a lot of people just get, so stuck in their own jobs or whatever that that's where they stop. That's where their growth stops.
Feeling in that age group when you were that age and you're like your whole life's ahead of you and you're like the options are limitless.
And I'll tell you what,
that feeling rubs off on you.
It does.
No
That's
matter
exactly
what
I'm
age,
saying.
when you're around people like that and you're like, yeah, then that's what I take away from
it's also nice when you ask people like, well, so what do you want to do when you're done with school? And they're like, oh, I have no idea. What do you want to do? And you're like, oh, I still don't know either. But thanks for coming to the show.
Do this for a little while and see what happens.
Yeah. And it's really nice too when they see you doing what you do, like you, Pete Boie, doing what you do, like going out and being a magician. I'm sure it's like really nice for them to be like, well, I don't know what I want to do for a living, but if it's possible to make a living being a traveling entertainer, a traveling magician, then I might be all right.
Yeah. And it also like makes them rethink, like, do I really like accounting or do I really like history? Like what do I like? Like, am I doing this because I think I might get a good job, which is important, but am I doing this because I enjoy it and then figuring out how to make money off of it. You know, I think that's important. People really want to feel kind of fulfilled in what their work is. You know, they want to be happy. They want to enjoy the process of the work, not just the end results that they get. And yeah, and when people see us do our things, you know, people after the shows, people say that they're like, "That's so cool! You get to do that." And, you know, it's something you enjoy doing. And
do you get that more from corporate side or from college side?
Both.
Yeah, but it's different, right?
Yeah,
like from the corporate side, it's like, corporate
my
side
life
is
is
sad.
half over, and I didn't do the thing I wanted to do.
Right. And from the college side, it's like, I could do what you do.
Yeah. And I feel bad. Like, the corporate shows, it's like, well, you still got time, man. You're only 60.
That's right, man. Learn. Yeah. Put a hand pocket in there and go out and be somebody. That was a callback. That's a classic of comedy right there.
Damn. Look at that. We're learning.
And that's our teachable moment.
We're going to get like music for this, right? Segment music?
Yeah. We could totally.
Oh, this thing's going to be big.
I'm feeling it. Yeah. I'm feeling it, man. Well, dude, do you want to call it there?
We can.
Let's call it. Yeah, let's call it there.
So
first Monday Club podcast recorded on a microphone with freaking gaff tape on it
in a Holiday Inn hotel room.
In a Holiday hotel room in Baltimore with all the gang violence happening outside throughout the podcast.
Not even a joke about that's not a joke.
That's not a joke.
Real deal.
Real talk.
But this has been awesome. I'm so pumped to reboot Monday Club, man. This is great.
Dude, I'm in.
With you
and all of you guys out there.
We have MondayClubPodcast.com. Go to there. You can get our Facebook info there, Monday Club Podcast or Monday Club Pod on Facebook. Check that out. Twitter's Monday Club Pod or Monday Club Podcast. I can't remember. Got to look those up again. And we might even be on Instagram. I'm with the same username. But you can get all that MondayClubPodcast.com. And we'll have a newsletter sign up there to stay tuned into what we're doing. Subscribe to this. Subscribe on whatever podcast listener you listen to. And anything else?
Yeah. Oh, I'll see you next Monday, buddy.
Yeah. Monday Club.
Yeah! We did it!
Monday Club is back!
Monday Club is back! Like the phoenix, it bursts from new flames.